Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel dedicated to GMAT preparation. Today we are going to discuss how to crack GMAT with right strategy. As per my experiences with GMAT, most of the aspirants fail because they do not know how to make their own strategy for GMAT. So let us start the video, and yes, please do not forget to like and subscribe the channel for quality content on GMAT. At first, let me tell you what you are going to get from watching this video. We will start with basics so that you will know about format of GMAT. Then we will discuss what are different sections of GMAT. Later, I will tell you how to make your own strategy for your success in GMAT. And then last but not the least, what matters most on GMAT so that you focus and make your own strategy accordingly. So let us first start with what is GMAT. GMAT is Graduate Management Admission Test. It is mostly multiple choice question based. It is not a simple but computer adaptive test. Well, adaptive means based on whether you make a question right or wrong, the difficulty level of next question is decided. Your score depends on up to what difficulty level of questions you are able to solve correctly and obviously also on the total number of correct questions. It means every GMAT exam is unique. Obviously, it is computer based and so it is required to be taken on a computer connected to the servers of GMAT. The GMAT is developed by GMAC. They are the test makers, administrators, and copyright holders of GMAT. Actually, GMAT score helps business school admission committees, along with other factors, to decide on who is the best candidate for admission to that business school. Now, it is obvious to you that chances of you getting selected for a great business school increases with high GMAT score. So, no compromises on GMAT prep. Remember, it can transform your career radically. So, how to get a high GMAT score? It is $1 million question, but the answer is very simple. You have to first understand GMAT, then understand yourself with respect to GMAT, then plan your own unique strategy, then execute the strategy. If the strategy is not working or it is deviated with respect to your expectations, then do midway correction and execute the revised strategy. And finally, execute, and get a great GMAT score. So now we are going to understand the components of the exam. Here we will discuss sections of GMAT, then details of these sections, which will include the number of questions, time allocated, broad area from which the questions are asked. GMAT exam comprises of 4 sections. First, verbal section. Second, quantitative section or quant. Then integrated reasoning or IR, and the fourth section is analytical writing assessment or AWA. Now, one by one, we are going to discuss about these sections. So, let us start with verbal section. So, let us start with verbal section. So, now let us discuss different parts or components of the verbal section. In verbal section, 3 parts or components are there. They are not different sections because questions from these 3 are intermingled. The 3 components of verbal are sentence correction, which is also known as SC, reading comprehension, also known as RC, critical reasoning, also known as CR, and questions from SC, RC, and CR are asked in verbal section, and the questions are quite intermingled, which means maybe first 2 questions are from sentence correction, and then third is from reading comprehension, fourth from sentence correction again, and so on randomly. All reading comprehension questions related to a given passage obviously appear in a row. You can expect 13 to 14 SC questions, 9 CR questions, and 13 to 14 RC questions on a typical GMAT exam. Thus, approximately 40% questions are from sentence correction and reading comprehension H, and rest questions are from CR. In some different instances, it is seen that 12 to 13 sentence correction questions are asked, 9 to 10 critical reasoning or CR questions are asked, whereas 13 to 14 RC questions are there in the paper. Thus, approximately 37 questions are from sentence correction and RCH, and rest 26% are from CR. Thus, you are required to think verbal as a building standing on three pillars: sentence correction, RC, and critical reasoning. Obviously, making yourself strong in any of these components will require correct strategy and smart execution of that strategy. Now, let us know something about quantitative analysis, also known as quant. Well, in quantitative ability or quant section, there are total 31 questions. Time allocated for this section is 62 minutes. Thus, the time available per question in this section is 2 minutes, a little bit more than what was available in verbal section. The test is computer adaptive, so both easy and difficult questions are expected. Here also, for some of the questions, you may find the time available to be more than required, whereas for others, you may find it difficult to solve within 2 minutes of time. Also, for different subparts of quant, the time required by you may be different. The time may even vary with the difficulty level of the questions. On an average, for quant, you should be comfortable with a time of around 2 minutes per question. In quant section, two types of questions are asked. They are quite intermingled. First type is problem solving or PS. In this type of question, you are given a mathematics problem and you are required to find the answer and select one of the correct answer choices. Thus, it is definite that the given problem has a solution and you have to select out of the given choices like A, B, C or D. Out of total 31 questions of quant, around 14 to 15 questions are from problem solving or PS. Well, second type of questions are data sufficiency questions. In such questions, one mathematics problem is given and two statements are also provided which form part of the question. Now, you are asked whether you can solve the problem by using only statement 1 or only statement 2 or both statements 1 and 2 are required for solving the problem, or whether it is not possible to solve even with statements 1 and 2 taken together. So in this case, obviously, you have to analyze and you have to be logically strong to decide on whether the problem has a solution with one statement, two statements, both taken together, or even it is not possible to solve the problem with both the statements, and that decision is to be made within a real time of 2 minutes. 16 to 17 questions are from data sufficiency or DS. Thus we see that PS and TS, problem solving and data sufficiency questions, are approximately 50-50 in the quant section. So we have just discussed that in problem solving around 14 to 15 questions will be there, and these mathematics questions are typically of higher secondary level, 10th to 12th level. Good concepts in these chapters of mathematics is obviously very much required to solve the questions, and GMAT is not only about mathematics, you are required to apply your logic also. Logic application to some extent is required in questions of problem solving also. And obviously, you have to find the solution within the given time frame, that is within 2 minutes of time. For questions of data sufficiency type, that is DS, we roughly have 16 to 17 questions of DS type. Mathematics questions of again higher secondary level, that is 10th to 12th, we commonly find in GMAT. Whether given set, data set 1, data set 2, data set 1 and 2 together, or even data set 1 and 2 together is not sufficient to solve, that we have to decide. That decision is to be made within, on an average, 2 minutes of time. Here, logic application to a great extent is required. TS questions require your logical skills to be of higher and higher level. So, better and better logical skills are developed, you will find yourself comfortable in data sufficiency questions. Also, the mathematics, logic, or reasoning should be very clear in your mind, and what all types of questions can be there related to a formula, related to a chapter, related to a topic, that you should be very much clear about. So, what are the different variables of a problem? How a given variable can change the scenario? Which variable is must, or which all data are required definitely for arriving at the solution? Those things are very much required to be taken care of while reading mathematics chapters. If you simply go through the chapters and ignore these facts, ignore the logic, ignore that algorithm of solution, the variables, significance for different formula and for different problem solving techniques, in that case your data sufficiency part suffers, because then you are not able to apply your logic very adequately for data sufficiency questions. The third section of GMAT is Analytical Writing Assessment, also called as AWA. In this section, you are said to write an essay on any topic which requires some logical thinking. This way, GMAT tests your logical writing skills in the same section. The time provided is 30 minutes. The good news is that WA, or Analytical Writing Assessment, does not contribute to your main score on GMAT. AWA score is provided separately. Well, some business schools may see AWA score, but most of them are primarily concerned about main score on GMAT. So, when I say I have scored 700 on GMAT, it means the scoring is done based on my performance in verbal and quant sections only, and not on AWA. The fourth section of GMAT is Integrated Reasoning, also called as IR. In this section, around 12 questions are asked on multi-source reasoning. The questions may be asked on the basis of data given in tables, paragraphs, graph, etc. Data provided in different format has to be assimilated and used to provide the answer to the questions asked based on these data sets. Here also, logic application is very much essential part of solving problems. Similar to AWA, IR also does not contribute to the main GMAT score. Well, friends, obviously everyone appearing on GMAT wants a great GMAT score. Typically, 720 and above is considered to be quite great for getting admission to one of the best business schools in the world. But even after years and years of preparation, aspirants are not able to improve their scores on GMAT. Well, almost all experts agree that working as per correct strategy is essential requirement for achieving a great GMAT score. Making a strategy for GMAT is not that easy. At the same time, if you know the technique, it is not that difficult also. Well, the two major factors in verbal or quant or in any section of GMAT are first, understanding the subject matter, and second, the ability to solve the questions within the given time limit. If you are new to GMAT preparation and directly sit for the GMAT mock test, probability is high that you will land up with some not so good score. Now, the purpose of the strategy is to improve the score obtained in mock or real GMAT. The best things to do for this purpose is to carry out your own SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis. SWOT. SWOT is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis used for focused progress in any field. Now, let us see how we can apply this management concept in this case to get really great GMAT score. So, to devise your strategy, you must consider that there are two very vital factors and they are virtually independent of each other. One is the time limit and the other is the knowledge of the subject or the domain knowledge. Now, at stage 1, let us just start solving the questions topic wise. Do not keep any fixed time limit at this stage. Just focus on doing the questions correctly. Measure your accuracy. If, despite giving more than allocated time, you are not able to solve the questions, your conceptual weakness is exposed and that weakness is to be noted. Note all such weaknesses. These are your dark zones for GMAT. Dark zones because even if given infinite time, you are not going to score against these problems. Now, allocate more time and resources to these areas of preparation. Obviously, it is very much required because it is your dark zone. Also think why these areas are dark zones. Have you read them in recent past? Is your reading or reference material which you are using, the reference material is okay or not, etc. etc. Now, allocate not only more but quality resources for your GMAT preparation. That is also very much essential. Otherwise, the dark areas will remain dark and your score preparation or score improvement will remain a distant dream. Now, after knowing your dark zone, where you are not able to perform with the infinite time limit, come to stage 2. Now in stage 2, solve the problems topic wise and with time limit as per prescribed GMAT time. For some topics where you were good without time limit, but now you will feel that you are making mistakes when solving these questions within time limit. It means topics in which you are okay stage at stage 1, you may not be okay at stage 2 now. So your weaknesses with respect to time, with respect to solving these questions within time limit is exposed now. Let us say them as yellow zones. Zones because you know them conceptually, but while solving them or while trying to solve them within designated or allocated time limit, you are making the mistakes. Just like a yellow traffic light, you are ready to achieve mastery in these areas. It is easier to improve there. For some of the questions you find you are good at stage 1 without limit on time and even in a stage 2 with limit on time. Well, this is your strength zone or you can say this is your green zone where you are okay whether the time limit is there or not. Your accuracy does not suffer. This is your green zone and ultimately your aim will be to get more green zones, green topics, you can say, or the topics which are in green zones for GMAT to improve on your score. So we are using SWOT or SWOT strategy, applying that strategy in the GMAT preparation. Let us summarize what we have done so far. You are identify your dark zone where you are not okay. You are not okay neither without time limit nor with time limit. So in both cases you are not okay. You have your yellow zones of preparations. In these yellow zones, you are okay if more than required time is provided to you, but not okay if the time as per prescribed prescribed on GMAT, say 1.8 minute on verbal and 2 minutes on quant. If you are said to solve within that time limit, then you are making mistakes. So you have your black zones, you have your yellow zones, you have green zones also where you are okay whether the time limit is there or not. You are okay conceptually, you are okay with respect to the technique, with respect to the limitations which are provided with respect to the time. So you are actually ready for GMAT in these areas. Whereas, so what is your strategy for making your spectrum of GMAT more green and green? What is your strategy to improve your score to 700 plus, 720 plus, or 740 plus? Or how we should devise such strategy? Obviously, you are now ready to answer this question. So, what is your strategy for making your spectrum of GMAT more green and green? What is your strategy to improve your score to 700 plus, 720 plus, or 740 plus? Or how we should devise such strategy? Obviously, you are now ready to answer this question. Please look at the schematic of strategy. In a topic where you are completely blank, no concept, no practice, no idea, can you expect all of a sudden to jump into green zone where you are able to solve the problems within time limit? Well, the answer is maybe in some cases, but not in all cases. And mostly that is not going to happen. As per my experiences with GMAT, most of the aspirants fail because they do not know how to make their own strategy for GMAT. So let us start the video, and yes, please do not forget to like and subscribe the channel for quality content on GMAT. Mostly studying topics for the first time properly and in depth will lead you from dark to yellow zone. It means still you are taking much more than prescribed time, although you have the requisite knowledge of the topic now. So it's okay, you know the concepts, but whether you know the concepts in the correct way, whether you know the correct techniques, whether you have internalized the formula, whether you have internalized the shortcuts, whether you have internalized the correct process by which you can match the timelines also along with uh, solving the questions somehow or in some extended period of time. So that correct technique is very much required to be grasped. In some cases, when other topics are easier, or when you get the domain knowledge with relevant techniques and tricks, simultaneously you roll directly from dark zone to green zone. That may also happen. Well, to improve speed, topics are required to familiarized and more practiced. That way, it is like expert driving, driving your own car. To learn driving, but at first drive slowly or straight. Turns disturb you and get much more time, etc. etc. But when you get used to driving concepts, practice enough to even do correct. driving while listening to music comfortably, and even while doing some other activities also. So, going from yellow to green zone is mainly right technique, formula, right reference material, etc., and more practice. So, apply these and move to yellow zones or green zones of your preparation uh, comfortably through application of correct reference material. So, so mostly we get ourselves familiarized with the topics, do some basic practice and jump to yellow zones. Now you know the topic and you have to focus on more techniques, tricks, and also on more and more practice to go from yellow zone to green zone. So, getting better and better on GMAT and particularly to get best scores, keep in mind GMAT score improvement is like using your subconscious mind for your conscious activities. It is just like learning flawless car driving. When at first you learn and start driving, you are so conscious. Drive slowly, straight, get nervous at sharp turns. So, what should be your strategy? You should focus on quant and verbal first. Why? Because analytical writing assessment and IR, they are secondary. Your main score on GMAT is composed of your performance on quant and verbal sections. Obviously, you should focus on quant and verbal. The second point is you should carry out your detailed strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis, and that should be topic wise. You should analyze or identify your weak areas and you should convert them into strength by shifting your zones of preparation like from black to yellow, yellow to green, or from black to green zones, and that way you should be reviewing it from time to time where you stand with respect to the GMAT preparation. Now, mid-course